everybody, I'm John Self, and welcome to Self Perspective, a weekly video blog with information and insight to help you manage your career. As I was preparing for this video today, I was looking through our file of Ask the Recruiter submissions, and two of the most common questions I'm seeing are this: how many references and what kind of references should I submit? And two, what degree should I use after my name? Okay, let's begin with the references. We recommend you send 4. You may be asked for 3, you may be asked for 10. If it's not specified, we suggest 4. Send 1 covering these categories, 1 in each category: a superior, a peer, a subordinate, and then 1 other from one of those categories who can really speak accurately and completely about your experiences. One of the issues that occurs periodically, actually more than you would believe, is that we ask references specific questions about a person's performance or accomplishments, and they can't answer the question. And after the second or third time, that reference no longer becomes a good reference, it becomes a negative reference. So be very, very careful in selecting your references. Don't let this be an afterthought to the search. I've seen candidates get to the end really out front and close to getting the job, and then their references weren't as strong as they should have been, and a competitor candidate got the job. So think carefully about who you want to use. Now, all searches are different, and your experiences with certain references may be different. So you want to have more than just 4. You want to have a panel so that you can pick and choose the references that'll be able to speak specifically to your accomplishments. And when you know that the references are about to be taken, let the referees know that a call's coming. Remind them of what you accomplished for them. It's okay to do that. It's okay to prep them. It's okay to send them talking points, because it may have been 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, and people's memories kind of fade a little bit. So don't assume they're going to remember all that great stuff you did, especially if it's more than 2 or 3 years prior. So let them know the call's coming, and remind them what the issues are, and remind them your accomplishments that speak to those issues. That's very, very important. Now also, if you're a senior executive, you may go through 5 or 6 or 7 searches in a 12 to 14 month period. So don't let your references suffer fatigue. That is to say, they get called and called and called, and you don't get a job, and they keep getting called, and they're kind of in the dark with what's going on. Have enough references so you can kind of spread the wealth, okay? And after a reference has been called, if you got the job, let them know. If you didn't, let them know. Don't disrespect them by just keeping them in the dark until you punch their button. That's really important, so think carefully about that. Manage your references appropriately. Now let's talk about degrees. Frequently, we see John Jones, MBA or MS, MHS, or one of the healthcare degrees, fellowship in the American College, FACHE. If you're a fellow, you had to have a master's degree. So that's kind of duplicative. Don't do that. That's not really appropriate. The degrees that you use after your name are the terminal degrees. MD, DO. If you are a PhD or a Doctor of Public Health or a Doctor of Education, that's fine. But only use the terminal degrees after your name. And let me add another note. If you have multiple certifications, and you see this frequently with clinical executives, only list the certifications after your name that apply to the search you're going for. I had one nurse candidate once that her name was on the left margin, and by the time she put all of her credentials in, it was on the right margin. Jack Welch famously called those people dabblers. He used to opine that they couldn't have accomplished much because they were too busy getting credentials and then keeping them. So only use the credentials after your name in a search that are really applicable to that search. That'll help the recruiter, and it'll make your resume look a lot cleaner. I hope this information has been helpful to you. If you have questions, please get with me. I'm at asktherecruiter@johngself.com. I'm also answering questions on Quora. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.